commissions? What were you able to do just from remote sales?
Yeah, so last month on the side of my 9 to 5, like getting up early in the mornings, taking a couple of calls in the mornings, I did 11,800 US dollars in commissions.
How are you doing a six-figure account manager role where you've probably got people you've got to manage, you've got to look after, you've got clients, you've got all of these different things that you're doing, and you've done that on the side?
You just make it happen, right? And I think that's the mentality that a lot of the boys have got inside Capital Closer, and especially I have. And to me, it was like unfathomable to begin with that you could go on and close a deal within 45 minutes and get paid. In corporate sales, you close a deal and then you could be waiting 18 months to get paid on it. You know, the analogy is, at the time I was the top goal scorer in League 2. You want to continue to be the top goal scorer in League 2, pacifying yourself with the fact you're on a six-figure salary that really the tax man takes half of it, or do you want to go and play in the Premier League? And it was just a question I had to ask myself. Jerry voice noted me and he was like, yeah mate, like I want you on this trading role, but he was like, are you still in your 9 to 5? Instantly like wrote out my notice. And then I sent Jerry a picture. I was like, no, not anymore, mate. Call it delusional, whatever, that I'm gonna be successful in this and I'm gonna do 20, 25, 30k a month. And I'll even push it to 40, 50k. There's only one reason I didn't do more, and that's because of me. Or you could just put your ego to one side, right, and say, well, he's better than me, he's earned more money than me, why would I not listen to him? Like, genuinely, are you 100% happy with where you are now? If you want to see into the future, look at guys in your company that are 15 years ahead of you and ask yourself, are they living the life that I want?
And we are back in the room. Wow, what a exciting member interview we have today with Joe Collison. Now, I want to start this member interview a little bit different to all of the other ones that we've had so far, and just basically ask you out the gate, why did you leave your six-figure, almost multi-six-figure account manager role to get into remote sales?
Yeah, it's a good question. And I think you'll remember the DMs that I sent you when I initially joined. Like, I was spending so much of my time just like dealing with rubbish, like doing admin related tasks, like not actually selling. Like, I enjoyed the bit where I was selling, but like that, because that's high ROI. But like I said to you, I was doing so much shit. Like, 40% of my time was spent doing admin tasks, doing whatever, and I wasn't actually selling. Like, and I thought, well, if I can get something that almost 100% of my time I'm selling, like, well, theoretically, I should just double what I'm earning.
Yeah. No, I remember I call well. I mean, if anyone knows anything about A-type prospects, just have a look at my call with me and Joe. To be fair, probably similar to how I would have showed up to a call. But I think, again, when you're in a sort of six-figure salary, and how long were you actually in sales? So you were in a sort of account manager role. You were in for like 4, 5, 6, even 6 years, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was probably about 5 years. I actually joined as like a sales apprentice when I was 19, and then stayed at the same company. I was at the same company, just worked my way up. So yeah, I was in corporate sales for like 5 years all in all. So a decent amount of experience in it.
Wow. Okay, so just to give some more context to the people, then, like, for you, if you want to sort of give a breakdown of what you were able to do last month in commissions, but more importantly, on the side of your account manager role. So, like, obviously taking calls in the evenings and on the weekends, what were you able to do just from remote sales?
Yeah, so last month on the side of my 9 to 5, like getting up early in the mornings, taking a couple of calls in the mornings, evenings, weekends, I did 11,800 US dollars in commissions on the side of my 9 to 5, and that was take home as well. That was after like all fees were deducted, taxes, everything. That was 11.8k take home.
How? How are you doing a six-figure account manager role where you've probably got people you've got to manage, you've got to look after, you've got clients, you've got all of these different things that you're doing, and you've done that on the side?
You just make it happen, right? And I think that's the mentality that a lot of the boys have got inside Capital Closer, and especially I have. Like, you just make it happen. But in terms of logistically, how I actually made it happen, I just landed a US offer. Funny enough, one that you actually sold on yourself. It's a really, really solid offer.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I jumped on that. Taking calls in the evenings, just time zone allowed. Like, and then I was on the buy offer too. So obviously working one that was landed through sales leaders, one was through Deal Fuel. Both basically landed through Capital Closer. And yeah, just time zones allowed it to. So I was getting up early in the morning because Dubai is 4 hours ahead, as you'll know.
Yeah.
And I was taking calls at like 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m. And then obviously working from home, 9 to 5 corporate, And then after hours, I was taking calls at Eastern time or Mountain Standard Time, which is like 6, 7 hours behind. So I was then taking calls like after I'd finished work, after I'd smashed the gym out, got back, was taking calls, taking 5 or 6 calls in the evening, a couple of calls in the morning, and all of a sudden it allows you to take 7, 8 calls a day with a 30 to 40% close rate. It soon stacks up, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think, yeah, that's quite interesting because obviously it's funny because like not a lot of people they say they would do it, and they say that you can. They see that you can on the side of your 9 to 5 sales role, you can do like 5, 10, even like 13K per month on the side, like Leo Chan was able to do on the side of his recruitment role. And it sounds great. It's like, oh, I can do it after work. I don't have to leave my job. And yeah, it sounds really good, the concept of it. But then when it comes to it, of like waking up at 6 a.m., knowing that you have work, then squeezing the gym in, or sometimes sacrificing the gym. And if you're into the gym, like that's actually quite a big thing to be sacrificing from a mental side of things and physically. But doing that day after day after day, like, why do you think? Because so many guys, like, obviously it comes back to, and we'll sort of get into like you starting, and obviously I think it's a bit different once you've seen results, because then it's like, okay, like there is light at the end of the tunnel now, like it's worth it.
Yeah.
But almost like in the beginning, how do you even, yeah, why? Because you're making six figures, you're doing better than 99.9% of not only people your age, but in the entire UK. Why?
Yeah, good question. Because I always knew like I was capable of more. Like, I went on holiday, funny enough, last December, to Barbados, and like just the wealth out there kind of made me realize that like I'm never ever going to be able to achieve anything like this or stay in
Mm,
some of these hotels that are 10, 15, 20 grand a week working in my 9 to 5. And I just kind of reversed engineered it. And bearing in mind, at the time, I was living at home with my parents. So I was taking like 5 to 6 grand a month after tax home. And my parents never charged me any board. I just paid for food, right? So I
yeah,
was saving
same.
like, yeah, I was saving like 5 grand a month. Obviously, I thought I was a baller. But then when you like reverse engineer it and you're like, whoa, so I would have to work a whole 4 months just to spend 1 week in this hotel. Do you know what I mean? And that's
Mm,
not covering my flights or anything. And
yeah.
that just kind of put into perspective with me. But what hammered it home even more for me is I moved out of my parents' house in March. So January we got the like put the offer in, saw the house, etc. And then March everything went through. We moved in, and then I had expenses. Like then I had 3 grand a month. Like I brought a nice house because I thought, oh, it's
I was
six
gonna
figure
say, I
salary.
remember you telling me you paid 3 grand. I was like, you were like, I remember we worked out how much you were making, and I was like, okay, so what are you left with? And I was like, mate, how much? How much is your apartment?
Yeah, and it always makes me laugh when I watch that callback too, like your reaction to my expenses. But yeah, no, like obviously I brought a really nice house because like on paper, do you know what I mean? When I sat down and spoke to the mortgage advisors, there was like, oh, well, you can borrow up to X because of your salary, income, disposable, etc. So I was like, oh, we'll stuff it. Look, I'll go for a good house with stamp duty and stuff. And then when you get into the mix of it, like 3 grand a month in expenses off the bat. So I only really had 2.5 grand a month after tax. And a lot of people might be like, oh my God, you've got 2.5 grand after, after bills and expenses have been paid. But I'm not that guy that wants to
Yeah,
settle or be happy with 2.5 grand of disposable income. But then when you actually get into doing stuff with your house, like if you want nice things, like I want nice things in life, it's expensive.
yeah.
And that was kind of it all fitted in pretty nicely because that's when I started seeing your content. I was like strapped on cash more than I'd ever been before because I'd like dumped all my savings into this house. I wanted to do things to it, do it up. And I was like, I just don't have enough money. I was like, yeah, I
Mm,
can wait for a year, 18 months to get my house done and everything. But I was like, I want stuff done now. And I knew I was always capable of more, but it was just a vehicle for me. So
yeah.
that was the main reason why I got into it in essence.
It's so funny that you said that because I think that's such a thing that not a lot of people do, and I think I did the exact same thing where it's like, hang on a second, like let me actually figure out like how much are these things actually going to cost that I want, and not just for me, even if I want to do things for the people around me. And I think people don't know, well, how much is that house? That not even the best house you want, like how much is it going to cost? How much do I need to make? Then let's think about tax. Then let's think about the car. Then like, and it doesn't always need to be materialistic. It may be I want X amount saved so I can invest into this and do that. It's like, okay, well, let's work out how much are you putting away per month right now. And I think people sometimes shy away from it a little bit because it's like, fuck, like once I have that conversation, it's like, what I'm doing right now is a waste of time, which is a little bit worrying. It's like, shit, like I'm working really, really hard though. Like I've been in this job for 5 years. Like I can't come to terms with this being a waste of time. But it's like,
Mm.
that guy walking around, as you probably saw in Barbados, do you think he's working in a corporate sales job? Do you think he's paid 15 grand per week for that working in court? Like, no, they're playing a different game. Like they know something that you don't. So coming back to obviously when you first saw remote sales, you were
Yeah.
strapped on cash. Even more reason to not invest in yourself, not put more money into coaching, whatever it may be. How do you overcome that as well? Because I remember, that was something as well.
A bit of help from you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just knew that was going to be what it take. I didn't want to, admittedly, like it kind of comes back to the same thing. Like I'm not a person that wants to wait for stuff. Like I didn't want to wait to do my house up and get the nice things for my house. And equally, I didn't want to wait to go down like free online content, finding out about myself, trial and error through the minefield of getting into it myself. I wanted to fast track it, and overcoming that. It, when you actually step back and take the emotion out of it, it's just a logical thing to do. Like it's the thing that actually makes sense to invest in yourself, to back yourself. Like I've always backed myself, but sometimes you just need a little push, right? And I think that's what, when you and I had a call, you know, you kind of took the emotion out of it and said, look, logically you're here and you want to get to here. This is the gap. How does it happen? And when you actually take a step back and, like I said, remove the emotion out of it and the fear, it's the logical thing to do. It's to just back yourself, invest in yourself, and kind of comes back to the thing like, would you do it if you knew you wasn't going to fail? And I just
Yeah.
had to adopt that mentality that like failure just wasn't an option for me.
Yeah, it's so true. But I think as well, it's like I think you said prior. I remember you saying something like on our first call that you either looked at certain things before, or you said you were going to do certain things before, and maybe didn't quite do them, and you're like, no, now is like the time where like we have to almost draw the line. Was that something along
Yeah,
those
yeah, yeah.
lines?
No, that's spot on. So I always dabbled at looking to go into property. Like that was kind of my thing that I was so hell bent on. Like, yeah, I'm going to go into property, get a couple of HMOs, do it that way. But then when you again sit down and reverse engineer the money that's needed to get that started, and also a skill set that I don't have.
Yeah.
when this came along, like I'm useless with my hands. Like when this came along, I was like, well, why would I just not use an existing skill that I already have, that I've been learning for the past 5 years, that I actually enjoy and that I know is high reward and it's paid for performance? Like, why would I just not use that as opposed to like looking at getting into a complete different industry that I've got no relevant experience in? Like, do you know what I mean? Doing houses up, I'd be useless. But
Yeah.
on paper, it seems. So when this came around, I was like, it just made sense for me.
What was the main thing regarding remote sales? Obviously, the complementary skill sets. Was it more? What was the main thing that you were like? This is the exact reason why I need to make the pivot into this specifically.
Sales cycle.
Really?
So many guys all vouch with me on this one. I come from a software background perspective. Like you're paid upon implementation. You wait in 18 months to get paid for a deal in worst case, right? And so many of the boys, like I've had conversations with the boys in Capital Closer that have come from a similar background to I have, or, the sales cycle is so long. And to me, it was like unfathomable to begin with that you could go on and close a deal within 45 minutes and get paid. And in some instances, like you close the deal on the last day of the month and you get paid the next day. Like
Yeah,
to me, I couldn't
literally.
quite the fact that would happen. Whereas like in corporate sales, you close a deal and then you could be waiting 18 months to get paid on it. And that was the main thing, as aside from using an existing skill set, that drove it home, like sales cycle.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest thing with me as well. Like, I think after a while, you just stop celebrating your deals being closed because it's like I'm not even going to get excited because there's so much to happen. And then you get to a point where it does close, and you're like, oh my God, yeah, happy days. Oh, I'm now taxed at 45%. Brilliant, fantastic. It's like, oh, you're getting a five-figure payout. Well, I'm not, am I? Because HMRC is taking X amount. Then I'm getting a national insurance. Then this is happening. So you might as well just not even pay it. And I know that's a bit extreme, but it's the truth, and it's like you work so hard for it, and I think it's sometimes quite annoying that you're not even in control of it. Like I wouldn't mind it if I was fully in control of it and I lost the deal. It's like happy days. I'll lose every deal every single day. But the fact that it's up to this director and this vendor and this third party agency, it's like
Yeah.
all of that cold calling could be completely useless. So when you got into obviously capital closing your first sort of 1-2 months of remote sales, what was that like in terms of your progression and fitting everything in and
Yeah, I
learning,
mean,
obviously?
you'll probably agree with me on this one that I didn't hit the ground running as quickly as I should have done.
I
I
would agree on
obviously,
that.
yeah, Um, I think that my first 2 months, obviously, I joined in May. I think May, June, July. I didn't really understand the scope of the opportunity at hand. I did obviously. I saw a lot of the boys like Lewis, Jerry, all making a lot of money, but I just let my 9 to 5 consume me still. Like instead of a 9 to 5, I was still getting up at 7. I was finishing at 7. I was going to the gym at 8. Like I didn't adjust my routine to focus on the thing, like the high ROI. Do you know what I mean? It's quite ironic because I never prioritized the high ROI thing. So
Yeah.
I could have hit the ground and, we probably would have done a member interview 2 months ago if I'd have hit the ground running as I should have done.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, the first 1 or 2 months was really good. Like the stuff on WAP, obviously the courses and that, I was consuming it. I was probably over analyzing some of it rather than just getting stuck in with the practical. Do you know what I mean? Like get your offer, get onto it and actually start. It's like, kind of the best analogy for me to use is like driving lessons. Like don't focus on having too many driving lessons. Just go and get stuck in, do your test and do the real learning when you're actually out on the road.
Yeah.
Um, as opposed
Yeah.
to like overanalyzing it. But yeah, I mean, the first 1 to 2 months, I didn't move with as much speed as I should have done, but we're here now. Yeah.
What was your realization with the difference in the sales process? Because sometimes, I think even you said it, right? I think as I probably said when I first got into the space, I was like, mate, I've got 6 years of sales experience. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I know it all. What was your realization when you got in, like, to go, oh, this is not the same?
Yeah. Like when it's long sales cycles. When you think about corporate, some of the core principles are the same, and obviously you can use your transferable skill, but like a lot of it is relationship building. Like in a 45-minute sales call, there's only a small window for rapport to be built. Whereas like in corporate sales, you might take them for a steak dinner, get to know them, talk about
Very true.
football, and all stuff like that, like lays the foundation to actually connect with them. So it's more rapport heavy in corporate sales. And I probably overestimated how good I would be at it. I thought 6 years corporate sales, I'm a big dog in the corporate sales world for my age.
Yeah.
But then you come into it, like it's kind of putting ego aside and saying, okay, look, well, this is obviously different to where I'm at. The fundamentals are the same.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I mean, it is obviously very different, but it's quite interesting to see the differences. You know what I mean? And the skills gap, and it really is paid for performance. Whereas
Yeah.
that corporate, like paid for how long you've been there, right? But this is like your paycheck is a direct correlation to your skill set.
And what was you started then picking up a bit of momentum? I don't remember you. I mean, this was like 3, 4 months down the line, right? When did? Because I remember you obviously did like was it the 5.8K in August?
Yeah, yeah. So it was August, right? And that was kind of all done at the back end of the month too. So if you remember, I was on that fitness offer, which I couldn't really kind of get to grips with. My first proper offer that I was on.
Yeah.
And then obviously we had the property one, the Airbnb, and
Yeah.
also the trip, which were both sales leaders, direct placement. And that's when stuff kind of started to click. Like I knew that there was opportunity with it. I started to close some deals, getting some momentum, and obviously I did 5.8K again on the side of my 9 to 5
In how
within
many
the space
days?
of 10
Yeah.
days. I
Yeah.
think that all happened. Again, working, long hours, putting the work in. And that's when I started really getting momentum behind me, started realizing the scale of the opportunity. And right off the back of that, we obviously went to Marbella, didn't we?
Yeah, but I remember very clearly in Marbella, I said to you, Marbella's top performers trip, where obviously we flew out our top performers and then we had, I think we had like 30, 25, 30 lads come out. Just, we said, look, we want everyone there. Let's see who's going to come out. And then 25, 30 lads, some still in their corporate roles, you being one of them, and some being sort of part-time, full-time, all came out. And I remember saying to your paddle or whatever, I was like, look, mate, 5.9K in 10 days. Like, when are you sacking off the account manager role? Obviously, again, just for context, people, Joe was on a six-figure account manager role. Like, this is again, but similar to a lot of guys inside Capital Closer, but it was a six-figure account manager role. Very, very solid role. He's in it for 5 to 6 years. Um, and I said to you, yeah, when are you obviously leaving? And you said to me, oh, maybe like sort of 3, 6 months, mate. And I was like, what? And you're like, it's a good job though, isn't it? It's a good. And I was like, what? And I was like, obviously you didn't have enough time because we were playing paddle and everything. I was like, oh, I need to have a chat with this guy. But I didn't even need to have a chat with you. I think something because I remember messaging you like a couple of weeks after, and you were like, "Yeah, mate," like, or Jerry told me. Jerry's like, "Oh yeah, Collison's fucking sacking it off." I went, "What?" So what happened?
Yeah, like Marbella was the biggest eye opener, right? Like I think often, the analogy is best used, right? You and Scotty both use it. It's like at the time I was the top goal scorer in League Two.
Yeah.
Like you want to continue to be the top goal scorer in League Two, pacifying yourself with the fact you're on a six-figure salary that really the taxman takes half of it, and or do you want to go and play in the Premier League? And it was just a question I had to ask myself. Like it was on paper, it kind of looked like one step backwards. And everyone said to me, like when I told my parents, when I told friends that was outside of capital closure, everyone was like, why would you do that? And like the way I looked at it, like for me, it was literally a no brainer. Like why I would do it, but it was just holding me back. And it was obviously we went to Marbella and I was speaking to Jerry, and he said to me, he was like, obviously because he's made the pivot now into sales management, he said, I've got a trading offer coming up. He's like, I want you on it. And I just kind of looked at him. I think it was at Corolla at the time.
Mm.
And I just I just looked at him and said to him, I was like, mate, if you do that, I'll leave my job. And he went, no, you won't. You won't. And kind of nothing was said. And then he dropped me a voice note probably a week after we got back from Marbella. And like my head was ticking the whole time, like being around everyone in there, like left the job, speaking to all the different boys that had done it. Because, there was a lot of other lads that done really well in the corporate world. Like Miller was crushing it in recruitment, right? Same as Hugo. And Jerry voice noted me and he was like, yeah, mate, like I want you on this trading role. But he was like, are you still in your 9 to 5? And
Mm.
that was it. Like I just like instantly like wrote out my notice. And then I sent Jerry a picture. I was like, no, not anymore, mate. And then handed my
Wow.
notice. And yeah, I just said to Jerry, I was like, I told you I'd keep my end of the promise. Um,
However, to make things even difficult, you were offered a nice bit more as you left. Just to give people context, obviously, people knew how good you were. You were very, very good, and like you've been in the company for 6, 7 years. It's like, no, you like we really want you here. It's not going to be easy for you to leave, Joe. We're going to make it even harder for you. We're going to say, look, bang, here, we want to offer you this. We want to offer you a good whack or whatever it may be. Um, for 90, I mean, even 99% of people, 99.9999% of people wouldn't have left in the first place, even though you'd made 5.9K in 10 days and you got the proof of concept and you're around the guys. And I think that definitely has a big reason and proof of concept. When you're seeing guys making 10, 20, 30K a month in the same community, it's like, like, because you're around it and you're in the Premier League. But when you were offered that, how are you turning that down and going, do you know what? I'm standing on this decision. I'm not going, oh, you've got me now.
it's funny because it wasn't even a decision. Like it wasn't even like didn't cross my mind at any point that I would stay. Like they offered me a good lump of money, like pretty close to what the average salary in the UK is, right? To stay. Um, but it wasn't even a decision. Like it was instantly a no. Like no, I'm not staying. My mind's made up. Because when you think about it, like, and you break it down on a 45% tax rate, like yeah, they might offer you X, but really it's only half of X because the tax man's
Mm,
going to take off. And then you split it across 12 months. And all of a sudden, that big figure on paper that they've offered you soon doesn't become that big. And,
mm,
you know, almost it's like, look, you're getting an extra 1,500, 12 to 1,500 quid a month to just kind of forget about where you want to go and what you want to do with your life. And that's just kind of how they like constantly reel you back in, right? So for me, it was like a no-brainer that like I had 100% belief, you call it delusion or whatever, that I'm gonna be successful in this and I'm gonna do 20, 25, 30K a month. And I'll even push it to 40, 50K. So it was a no-brainer for me.
what do you think was the biggest sort of thing that you took away from Capital Closer so far, even though you're sort of only like you still haven't had your first full month being a remote sales like full time, like you did 11.9K part time, you know?
Yeah.
What's the biggest thing that you've sort of taken away so far that's helped you or you found valuable so far as it stands?
The lads that are inside, like I know it's cliche, but genuinely you are like the sum of the five people you surround yourself with, or in this case, the wider group. And I just love it. Like, people will say to me, like, even my missus was saying to me at the start, like, you're crazy. Like, you're going to sleep at 4 a.m. and you're getting up at 6. Like, you sleep in 2 hours. Like, she would say you're crazy, but I genuinely love it. And that's the thing. Like, when I'm up at 4 a.m., I know I'm not alone. Like, me and Cal Tresh will be on the phone at 4 a.m. Or like me and Woody will speak at 3, 4 a.m. Same with Woody, because we're all doing the same thing. And I love the fact that everyone's just absolutely getting after it. So, I mean, the thing for me, the main thing I've taken away from it is that when you've got these people around you, there's no way that you can't succeed, providing obviously you can't skip the hard work bit and you've got to put it in. But it's just like the competition too. I always wanted to win, like ever since I was a kid. And I know it's something you drive home too. Like I wanted to win. And when you've got the other lads around you and you've got that league, like, yeah, all right, I did 11.8K on the side of my 9 to 5, but I wasn't happy with it because Leo earned more than me on the side of his 9 to 5. Yeah. It's more just like the standards you hold yourself to, right? And like a lot of people would be like, great result. Don't get me wrong, like I took a moment like when the money hits your bank, and like obviously I'm away on holiday at the minute, so but like, even I'm looking at this holiday, like this isn't a way for me to go away and celebrate and be proud of what I've done. Like, I'm still like, I'm in my hotel room, like I'm drilling calls. Like, I've come somewhere I'm in Antigua at the minute in the Caribbean. It's Eastern time zone. So it aligns with the offer I'm on. So I'm taking calls from like 6 till 12 every day in the morning, and I can go and enjoy the rest of my day. And then I'll take a couple more calls at night when my girlfriend's getting ready. But like this, I wasn't happy as much as it was like, great. Okay. It just kind of showed me what's possible. That if I can do 11.8K on the side of my 9 to 5, what can I actually do when I'm 100% full time? Like double that, triple that.
What do you think now? Because you've now landed this. Well, you've been on this role for about a month now. Obviously, the one that I
Yeah.
used to be on, doing 11.9K on the side. What's the plans now? Obviously, coming into sort of 2026 Q1 and everything else in terms of skill set, offer, and everything as a whole.
Yeah, for sure. Like that's something that I never overlook is skill set. Some people get into the space and like make their first 5, 10. Like I will constantly reinvest in myself because this is genuinely paid for performance. Like I don't want to be that person that, flukes a month. I want to consistently do this. Like this has got to be consistent in order for it to change my life.
Hmm.
So I'm aware, like, I'm never afraid to reinvest in myself. I'm never like, Scotty will vouch for me, and the things we've done within a circle, right, has taken me from where I was. It's easy to settle for that, and you could probably do 5 to 8K a month and be happy with that. But like, I genuinely see myself pushing to like 30, 35K a month. So, I mean, the plan for Q1 ready for me is get to full flow on the offer that I'm on at the moment. And yeah, I think I can do 25K.
Q1.
I say think I know I can do 25K in Q1 next month. And then if you add bonuses on top of it, I think there's no reason I shouldn't be pushing 26, 27, 28K.
What's for you touched on inner circle there, and obviously like reinvesting in yourself again. Like, yeah, you're absolutely right. A lot of people will go, "Oh yeah, happy days. I'm making 5K or 10K a month." And again, you almost get into another way of thinking when you get into the remote sales space, where it's like,
Yeah.
it's almost like the League Two Premier League again. It's like, yeah, but in this realm, 5 to 10K is League Two. Because there's people making 20, 30, 40K a month. So it's like, what league do I? So what were the biggest things? Because I think that's more specific, and maybe it's sort of good for, I suppose, guys that have like been in the space a little bit now, that you took away from Inner Circle that really took things to the next level for you, because it's more skill set than offer. You're already on a solid offer, right?
Yeah. Like everything's in place now for me, right? I'm part of the right community. I've got the right offer, one of the best in the space. What's missing? And I text you on WhatsApp, right? You text me saying, obviously, fair play for the 11.8K on the side of your 9 to 5. And I kind of said, yeah, look, it's a bit bittersweet because I'm not 100% happy with it. But there's only one reason I didn't do more, and that's because of me. Like that's what I love about it, that there's no excuses. Obviously you could make excuses if you want to do, but the position I'm in at the moment, like I'm part of the right community. I've got the best offer. There's guys on the offer that I'm on doing 50K a month. The only difference between me and them, and Sadler says it all the time, they have 2 eyes, 2 ears, nose, and a mouth. The only difference between me and them is skill set.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, for me, it was a no-brainer to work with people that are in a position, obviously working with Scotty, like, whose skill set is better than me. And you could be that guy that is like, oh, well Scotty's only just turned 20, like, I'm not going to listen to him. Or you could just put your ego to one side, right, and say, well, he's better than me. He's earned more money than me. Why would I not listen to him and learn from him? And my skill set, and Scotty will match this, you will as well, has gone through the roof, for the last 4 weeks of working with you there.
What do you think's been the sort of main thing that sort of, I mean, obviously it's probably more a holistic thing in terms of everything's changed. Is there any key thing that you're like, no, I really feel like I'm a good bit better at that specific part of my calls, or even off of
Yeah.
calls?
I mean, off of calls, the thing that's like been a game changer for me, like I always kept a close eye on metrics. Like I always know like close rate, show rate, AOV, cash per call. I track all my metrics religiously, but it's that call we had the other day that changed it for me. Like, well, actually break it down. Like, how much are you earning per hour when you focus it down, and
Mm.
that's how you genuinely scale. But I think from a tracking side off the call, the main thing like on calls is it's just like a whole holistic, like front to back of sales. It's even little bits like that you don't realize, like your tonality, picking up on certain language that the prospect is saying, being fully present on that call, as opposed to like having, I think you said to me, don't have anything else open. Get your phone away, close all your other tabs, and just 100% focus. And it's these little differences and changes that all add up, like these little micro changes all add up to a bigger change where your skill set just goes through the roof.
Yeah, yeah. No, I say the same thing. Like people don't understand, especially like in remote sales, you are literally a top performer. Like it's like being like Michael Jordan of basketball, Cristiano Ronaldo of football, like all these small, minute things. Like Michael Phelps never took a day off swimming, not because he was like, I want to be the like, yeah, he did want to be the best, but he was like, no, because that small thing within swimming, if you take one day off, it takes 3 days to get back in the rhythm, like something to do with your skin and your motion within actually swimming. So he's like, if I just don't take a day off, and again, it's a
Yeah.
very logistical, smart decision. But if I just don't do that, well, that will just allow me to do better. It's like it's even the small things, and you know, you're one of the people that would do it regardless. But a lot of guys like sometimes come into this with their fucking 9 to 5 attitude, like, oh yeah, let me take calls Monday to Friday. It's like, well, mate, you're being paid for your performance. It's like Saturday, Sunday, they're all the same. They're all the same, and it's like even those little things. Well, I want to make more money. Well, have you ever thought of like working 7 days a week? Oh yeah, like, do you know what I mean? Like some people just don't think about that. But yeah, unfortunately, you just because we hit. I mean, your projection for the Dubai trip was like, was it 15K? Did we set at?
50K, yeah.
Ah, gutted, gutted that you missed out on that.
Yeah. No, me too, obviously, and that's why I said to you, and that's why I quite kind of wasn't happy. But I mean, I think even if I did 15K, yeah, I would have beat Leo's record of commissions on the side of a 9 to 5, and yeah, I would have been coming to Dubai. But like, I still wouldn't have left deals on the table. Like, there's
Yeah,
still things that I could have closed, and you can kind of look at it one of two ways. You can kind of sit back and get comfortable and say, oh, well, I've done this, right? Or you can kind of analyze, which I do, and I'm that type of person. Like, well, I should have closed you, and I should have closed you, and I should have closed you. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's still deals that you let slip through your fingers. And that's what I love about it. Like, it's completely on you. But yeah, I mean, like, there's no doubt in my mind that I'm going to be on the next top performance trip, especially now the 9 to 5's gone out of the way, the offer I'm on, where my skill set's going. Like, I have full confidence that I'll be there.
yeah, literally, 110%. Yeah, there's no, because yeah, when we broke down your hourly rate, like a big piece of it was, well, look, I can't quite do that level of income because there's a gap here because it's not
Yeah.
dedicated fully to it. And it's like all of a sudden now, if you throw all of that energy and attention, just like an investment into that one that's giving me the highest ROI, well, guess what? It's going to 2x, it's going to 3x, or whatever it's going to do. And I'm excited to see what it does in January, Q1. Yeah, no doubt you'll do 25, 30K. I think for you, it's very, you're literally, I always say this, you are literally the person when it comes to capital client, and, people could say if I say this, you're losing sales or whatever. I couldn't care less. The person that like I would want inside Capital Closer in terms of mindset, way of thinking, existing corporate sales background, everything front to back. Like for us, it's a company. It's not a coaching business in terms of how all the boys operate and our banter and our humor and just everyone gets the vibe of who the type of people that we are. We don't need to get into that. If we went to the same school, we'd all be in the same group, that
Yeah.
type of thing. But for someone who's on the outside now, probably you like 5, 6 months ago, who's like making 4, 5, 6 grand take home after tax month after month, who's got the nice, really nice little coupe Mercedes, they've got their gold Rolex, they've got the best suit, they're going on decent holidays, all of that sort of stuff. But they're seeing remote sales and they're like, I'm doing really well. I'm a big dog. Like I'm making 6 grand take home after tax. What would you say to them?
Um, just ask yourself, like, strip everything back, right? Every single thing you've just gone through there is like me and what I was, right? Sort of 7, 8 months ago, like brought a watch, brought a nice car, brought a nice house. But when you actually strip it back, like, and when it's just you alone with your thoughts, like, are you happy? Like, genuinely, are you 100% happy with where you are now? And I think 99.9% of people that was in my situation, ego aside, materialistic things aside, are not happy with where they want to be. And the biggest thing I would say is put your ego to one side, right? And you might be a big dog surrounding yourself with people that are earning half the amount that you are, but genuinely ask yourself, are you 100% happy with where you are right now? And is the vehicle you're in at the moment going to get you where you want to be, right? And you get into sales for a reason, right? And that's because you want to earn a lot of money. Don't let a 6-figure salary pacify you. Don't let a 20, 30 grand pay rise a year, if you're even going to get that, pacify you and make you forget about what you're actually capable of, but also what you can do and what else is out there. Don't have the blinkers on. There's so many people that I took a look around, and especially for people my age, if you want to see into the future, look at guys in your company that are 15 years ahead of you and ask yourself, are they living the life that I want? And if you have an honest conversation with them, 9 out of 10 of them, these guys that are 45, 50, yeah, they're probably earning 300 grand a year, but are they happy? Do they have the level of income they want? Do they have the level of freedom, flexibility that they want? Can they come to Antigua? Do you know what I mean? Go on holiday, take a laptop and work and earn money. You just got to ask yourself that question and just genuinely be brutally honest with yourself and put your ego to one side. And I think that's the biggest thing I would say.
Yeah, I mean, what a point. What a point. So, so true. Look around the office and just
Yeah.
go, would I be happy in all areas? Relationship with their partner,
Yeah.
kids, money, like so, so true. Well, look, big dog, appreciate you hopping on. What time is it as well? Just to give people like some context of the dedication of this man. What time is it out in Antigua at the moment?
Yeah. We're like 6:30 now at the
Oh,
moment.
he was
In
up
the
at,
morning.
well, you're up at 4, went gym, and now
Yeah. Yeah. Got up about 4:30, smashed the gym session out. I've had to kick my missus out of bed, and she can't come back in the room because I've got a call. So she's happy as Larry. So
and then you got calls after this.
yeah. I've got calls. So I'm taking calls until 12 today. But then the beauty of it is I've got the rest of my day. Then I will pay for this holiday through the deals that I will close whilst I'm here. In fact, I will leave and I'll be on the flight home in a profit, which is the craziest thing to me. I've gone on a holiday that a lot of people would dream of, and yeah, I'll pay for it just by doing what I actually love doing, which I know it sounds a bit cringy, but
Yeah,
it's true.
it's true. It's true. Look, big dog, appreciate you hopping on. I'll leave you to it. I know you got a few calls, but we'll catch up soon. And yeah, appreciate it.
All right, nice one, mate.